What is going on, Crisis Actors? It is episode 1045 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here on this Friday afternoon with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Happy Friday. I had a hell of a time last night watching the Devil Wears Prada sequel. We'll get into that in a few minutes, but we have a couple of $20 super chats to get to start with. Katie said, "Shut up, Billie Eilish. Vegans suck. My bestie that ended my friendship with her due to her thinking I was racist was a vegan. Ordering a separate meal for her every time we ate was so annoying." That sounds very annoying. Yeah. I mean, everyone has heard me say this by now, but I used to be the annoying vegan. I just didn't bring it up all the time.
Well, that means you're not the annoying vegan. If you're the annoying vegan, you bring it up all the time.
Well, honestly, like, people would still get annoyed at me for it, even though they asked. Like, they asked me, like, I don't know why I wasn't, eating the thing that everyone else was eating. So I would say the answer, and then they'd still be annoyed, which I don't really understand. I mainly stopped being vegan because it was impractical and it was making me fat. So
is it the bread?
Those days are behind me.
Is it bread that does that?
Well, it's just, when you are nutritionally deficient, you have hunger like no other hunger. And then you try to fill that with pasta and rice and potatoes, and it just doesn't work. And then you just eat so much more food than you should because you are deficient. And I think that was really the reason why.
Even for me now, like, if I eat out, I'm immediately hungry again, like a couple of hours later, and I don't know why that is. But if I make food at home, like, I don't know if it's just because you're making it with real ingredients, or real ingredients, like, I'm not still buying them from Walmart, but like, for some reason, like, I go home and eat. I make like a meatball sub myself, which is smaller than one I would get at a store. Right? Like, if I was to buy one at Sheetz, which you used to be able to get meatball subs there, and I'd be hungry again like a couple of hours later. The one I eat at home is much less food, but I'm full way longer. And I've been exercising way more because I've been doing at least about 10,000 steps, like average 10,000 steps a day right now.
Everyone golf claps for Brett for getting to 10K steps because we didn't think it was possible with the job.
It is unemployed behavior, but I have increased my walking after work. It's a good thing. But the point
I don't know why that is, or if it's just a mental thing. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I never had that. For me, it's if I eat a lot the day before, I wake up starving, which is not normal for me. It's because your body just like gets totally thrown out of whack.
Yeah.
From that. But we have another 20 here, or actually two more. Shane said, "Happy Friday, Brett and Mary. I had my routine dental checkup / cleaning. Gums are perfect and teeth and roots are strong. No notes. So to all those who say Zins will cause issues with your teeth and gums, does raspberry." Yeah, I agree. Everyone was telling me you're going to have serious issues from zinning all the time. I show up to the dentist and they say no notes. You're doing great, sweetie.
10 out of 10.
Still on my streak of having 0 cavities for my entire life, which is probably mostly due to genetics, but I will congratulate myself for it nonetheless.
Golf clap.
Another 20. Thank you. We both get golf claps today.
There you go.
Ryan Bledsoe said, "I'm here for the Kentucky Derby tomorrow. Where's the PCC meetup?" I'm pretty sure you're the only viewer, the only crisis actor who is at the Kentucky Derby right now. I would be surprised if anyone else is there. But yeah, let us know if a PCC meetup happens.
Exactly.
Good luck with that.
Guys, hit the like button on this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you've not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Share the episode out with your friends, your family, your loved ones, people in your life that you like, people in your life that you don't like. The more people that you share the show with, the faster our channel can grow. So thank you guys so much for that. What are we getting into today? We are going to talk about Mary's review of The Devil Wears Prada. She's going to give a scathing indictment of The Devil Wears Prada 2. So we will get into that. We are also going to talk about the fact that acting just isn't cutting it anymore, especially if it's Ian Somerhalder or Shannon Elizabeth, you have to move on and do other things outside of acting because acting just doesn't seem to pay the bills anymore for the average Hollywood star. Also, Anne Hathaway is once again taking aim at the Tradwives, correct? Yesteryear is the name of the book-turned-movie.
Yes, starring in an upcoming movie about a Tradwife influencer whose entire life is a lie. Can you guess who it's about? It's pretty obvious.
We'll have to talk about that. We got a bunch of other stuff that we are going to get into as well. The last topic devolved into like a rabbit hole. It's going to be interesting. You're going to have to see how it's possible that Sharon Osbourne, they might be courting her into a far-right fascist cult.
Pretty crazy, actually, when you get into it.
Yeah. But before we get into all of that, guys, you have to understand that Mother's Day is coming up, and to avoid having mommy issues, you're going to have to go to castbrew.com and pick up the Cast Brew Mother's Day bundle. You get 2 bags of coffee or boxes if you want the pods, and also you get Vault Black Cold Brew. You guys know that I personally prefer to drink cold brew coffee over hot coffee, and that way you get a little bit of both. That way it doesn't matter what it is, you get something hot, you get something cold. She'll like hopefully both of them, but at least one of them. It comes in ground, whole bean, or pod, so there's no guessing which one she has to use. It's a great deal. It's about 20% off. It's $49.99 for the ground whole bean and $39.99 for the pods. It's a super simple gift, and I think that that's the easiest thing to do is don't overthink it. Get something simple, something that she will use. You can grab that now at castbrew.com. The link is in the description. Remember that the cold brew ships separately, so I want to thank Cast Brew I want to thank Cold Brew for sponsoring this episode. I do want to thank
Cold Brew for existing.
Exactly, me too. And one of those places that you can get that is the Vault Black Cold Brew. So thank you to castbrew.com for sponsoring this episode. Now, with all of that being said, we've got a bunch of stuff to get into. Let's talk about the devil. Well, let's have you rant about The Devil Wears Prada 2.
Yeah, this is basically going to be me ranting about The Devil Wears Prada sequel. The time has come after much anticipation, and this is a funeral, basically, for The Devil Wears Prada as a story. I must preface this by saying I hate the ending of the original Devil Wears Prada movie that was made in 2006.
Why is that?
The ending ruins the entire movie. Basically, she's under the mentorship, the tutelage of Miranda in the original movie, who runs Runway, which represents Vogue in the fictional universe. And then she ends up leaving at the last minute. The big twist is that she decides to leave Runway and go pursue her real dream, which is journalism. And I thought that was the worst possible way to end the original movie. And I like everything else about it, but that ending sucked. So that's just, if you took the ending and stretched it out into another movie, that's what this is.
Does she have a Substack instead now?
It is less about fashion or anything interesting, really. It's more just a giant... The whole plot line of this sequel is a massive, super on-the-nose virtue signal related to textile sustainability, like literally about global warming and textiles and fast fashion. It's about preserving lay journalism because lay journalism is so effing important. And it's about like being anti-AI. Like that's basically what the movie is about.
So it's all the buzzwords, all the things.
The movie is entirely divorced from the original subject matter, which is fashion. This movie has zero respect for fashion. It's merely a backdrop for everything else that they wanted to cover. So let me just go down the list. I mean, I was typing up a storm in the back of the theater as to not bother anyone with the light of my phone, but the first note I put down is the lighting and color grading are non-existent, which we already knew based on the promo images, which they always say, you know, the final product isn't going to look as bad as that.
That's a cope. That's the same thing they say. They're like, maybe they'll finish the CGI before the movie comes out. It's the shot you're seeing is done.
So the movie starts with Anne Hathaway, Andy Sachs is her character's name, getting an award for her late journalism because she left the fashion industry to be a journalist, a sleuth. And she receives this award at the same time that her and her entire team get laid off. And she goes up on stage and she's like, late journalism effing still matters. Like, she literally screams about how much journalism matters and it's so damn important. That's how this movie starts. And then she decides to stoop back to Runway's level. And she gets a job at Runway because they're facing their own crisis in the age of digital media. And she goes in and finally publishes the official mea culpa for Runway, who mistakenly did a glowing review of a fast fashion company that is literally called Speed Fash. It is called Speed Fash. Didn't take them any time to think about how to name that in a way that wasn't just totally elementary and like, again, on the nose.
The screen name of a fascist with a meth problem.
It was insane. The dialogue of this movie is honestly the worst part. Like, that's what made it the hardest to get through.
I saw your tweet.
Yeah, the corniest line in the movie, by far, and the competition is fierce, is Stockholm called, they want their syndrome back. Are we even trying anymore?
Wait, isn't that
like,
what
I would compare this to the way that like a Hulu original is written, but actually Hulu originals are like way better written than this movie by far. Like, I love several Hulu original movies, but this is more like Netflix slop, like 2010s Shonda Rhimes tier writing.
Hey, I was
a totally different era.
I was a Scandal defender for like the first couple of seasons, so I can't hate entirely on Shonda Rhimes.
It just feels dated. It feels dated the same way that Joss Whedon feels dated. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like the way that people imitate that style.
Wait,
there were
so
a couple
like
of
the
things...
Shonda Rhimes style is where everybody delivers like escalating monologues. Nobody ever talks to each other. They speak in large, impassioned monologues to one another.
Well, there were definitely a lot of those.
Okay.
Yeah. There were a couple of petty things that I noticed. First of all, this was also a problem in Fall Guy. Emily Blunt is distractingly injected. Like, it's really just hard to pay attention to what she's even saying because she doesn't look like Emily Blunt anymore. And second of all, it was this strange thing I noticed about the delivery for Stanley Tucci's lines. He seems like he has cotton mouth or something. I don't know what's really going on there, but he seems to have trouble like moving his mouth to deliver his lines in the movie. That was just a weird thing I noticed. Andy Sachs has a new random assortment of DEI friends that don't have personalities of their own. One is a friend that was originally in the 2006 movie who is now rich because she owns a gallery. She's a gallerist and lives in a lavish apartment or townhome or something. But we're supposed to believe that Andy, the journalist, is so poor that her water comes out brown in her apartment. And she basically this whole this sequel makes the first movie fall completely flat because she learned none of the lessons that she learned in the first movie. She came away from it learning nothing. The whole point of the first movie is that she shows up at Runway thinking that she's so intellectual and so above it all and that fashion is stupid. And she gets humbled by the job and learns that it's important. But then she shows up in the sequel and seems to have regressed back to the same point of view she had 20 years prior. She is still above it all, and she's too humble and intellectual to keep any of the knowledge that she supposedly learned in the first movie before her journalism career took off. She's slightly less frumpy now, but the changes in her personality didn't take hold. She didn't retain any of the character arc that she presented in the first movie. One of the worst things about this is that Miranda Priestley, played by Meryl Streep, just gets basically flanderized in this movie. She gets like buck broken because she's old and out of touch and not woke. She has to treat her assistants with respect now because of HR complaints, which is lame. She gets repeatedly tone policed by her assistant for saying things that are not politically correct. She doesn't get body positivity. She says things that are offensive, and her assistant gives her the side eye and keeps her in check.
It's insane that they think that in any real, like, I guess it makes sense because they're in a deep bubble, but they can't actually believe that that anybody who watches the movie takes the side of the assistant.
But I think they do. That's the weirdest part. Like, I think the target audience for this movie, being millennial women, I suppose, they actually do agree with the point of view of the young assistant who is training Miranda to be woke. That was one of the worst parts of my experience, is just like listening to the audible reactions of people around me who clearly loved it. They loved every moment.
A comment on Rumble says, regarding Tucci and his mouth, Stanley Tucci has spoken openly about his 2017 diagnosis of a rare cancer at the base of his tongue, resulting in severe, long-lasting effects on his mouth and jaw.
I see.
That makes sense.
That must be the explanation. No hate to Stanley Tucci. I think he's incredibly talented, but I didn't notice the same thing in Conclave. That was just something that stood out to me. Miranda also has to call her young assistant her actual name. In the first movie, it was a running joke that she calls all of her assistants Emily, because they're not important, and she is.
I'm surprised.
But she calls her new assistant Amari her actual name.
I'm surprised they didn't keep that part of it, because it's like the least offensive thing, and then that at least, like, they'd be like, look how edgy she is. She doesn't know their name.
Right, exactly. But they didn't even keep that. And another weird part is when Andy Sachs publishes the apology for Runway, people in the comment section actually like it, and they're like, yay, you took accountability, which literally never happens when you apologize for anything online. Then she starts writing about global warming and commandeers the magazine for her own journalistic purposes. Has nothing to do with fashion.
I mean, that's actually true of that industry, though, in a lot of ways. Like, there have been so many people that have made videos about how the consolidation of the magazines, you know, it's all Penske Media or whatever. Like, they're all writing about the same thing. Rolling Stone is writing about the same things that Vanity Fair is writing about, because nobody actually cares about what they were originally made for. The imprint doesn't matter. All that matters is the message.
Right. But it's strange that they valorize her for commandeering the publication for her own political purposes, instead of showing the reality, which is like people like Andy Sachs in the movie are the reason why fashion publications have plummeted in sales and popularity. She randomly starts she froze her eggs. That's just mentioned offhand. She froze her eggs. She starts dating this random Australian dude who owns her luxury apartment building that she can now afford.
He's a landlord. Oh, no.
They have zero chemistry whatsoever. I don't even know why he was in the story, honestly. He kind of seems gay, too. Like, all of the straight men in the movie talk gaily, which is off-putting. And all they talk about on their dates is how awesome and impressive and smart she is. And she claims that what she writes about as a journalist is everything that's wrong about our society, which in itself, you know, includes him because he works in real estate. And there was a weird parallel that I'm sure was lost on the writers of the movie. She confronts him with this, like, you've just gutted this historic building and remodeled it for luxury apartments. This just so sad. But he said that, you know, he did that so it wouldn't get bulldozed. And the parallel obviously is there to Runway, which is, you know, originally a fashion publication. She did to Runway what he did to that apartment building. She came in and gutted it of everything it was supposed to be about for her own ideological agenda.
But hers is okay, his is not.
Hers is good. She's a hero and he is a villain. And somehow she still likes this guy and wants to date him. And then Emily Blunt, that is with this other really annoying rich guy who is basically her sugar daddy. And he is later going to be the person who makes a bid for Runway in order to make it into AI. Like, he just wants to replace everything with AI. So Emily doesn't care about fashion anymore. She just wants power and money. That doesn't make sense. And yeah, all of the outfits suck. Needless to say, we already saw the set photos. Anne Hathaway wears this dress to the Hamptons that looks like the aerial view of a traffic jam. That's what I wrote down. Miranda then gets buck broken by the Nepo baby son of Runway's parent company CEO, who then dies unexpectedly. And the Nepo son runs in with his team of consultants, and they're starting to talk about EBITDA and ways to restructure and consolidate. He's the bad guy because he actually wants Runway to make money and continue existing. Andy is a total bitch to her new boyfriend because he just doesn't understand how important her lay journalism is compared to real estate. And there is this bizarre moment later in the movie. They go to Milan and they're staring at Da Vinci's Last Supper painting. And Miranda claims that Jesus is depicted without a halo to represent that we are all fallible and built to destroy each other. That was just a weird moment.
What does that even mean?
I guess she was foreshadowing what happened in the very next scene, where Emily Blunt attempts to usurp Miranda because her sugar daddy is about to buy out the company, the parent company. Emily feels overlooked, and she's allowing her sugar daddy to buy out Runway, make it into an AI empire. And Andy has this crisis of conscience where she is considering writing an unauthorized biography about Miranda, which is not flattering, but then she still feels like she wants to defend Miranda. There's a random Lady Gaga cameo that has no place in the movie. I think that Sydney Sweeney should, count herself lucky that her cameo was cut from this disaster. And it was really just added so that the gay guys in the audience would start snapping their fingers and squealing and gagging over it. There was no need for that. There was also a line toward the end where Andy says to Emily that she's trying to make Emily feel better, and she says, "You don't need a sugar daddy. You're iconic." Which is, again, just added in there to make it, appealing to the gay men in the audience. Andy criticizes her boyfriend all the time, and they get into this argument. They work it out in the end. And basically, I just want to say, what stood out to me about the first movie is that it takes fashion seriously, and it actually is about fashion. This sequel has nothing to do with fashion. It's just a backdrop for things that the writers consider serious topics, like global warming and digital media and business and ethics. And we don't like guys who wear Patagonia vests. And
wait, why?
Well, BJ Novak, who plays the Nepo baby son, spends this whole movie trying to make the parent company of Runway look more attractive for a life-saving sale, but it ends up actually going to a buyer who promises a hands-off approach, which means we end the movie looking at the beginning of the end for the publication, because giving them a hands-off approach allows them, people like Andy Sachs, to ruin it. And I think that the fact that the sequel was so universally embraced by the fashion industry in real life, and the way that they promoted it as opposed to the original, I think that merely proves that this movie says nothing interesting or provocative about fashion or Vogue or Anna Wintour or business or women. Mm-hmm. I think that the sequel also fails to feature any themes related to womanhood or marriage or family or relationships, whereas the first movie used those themes to humanize and ensoul Miranda as a character who is more than just this like one-dimensional icy boss bitch. It highlights the personal costs that she had to take on in order to be at the top of her game, and the inner turmoil that she faced over that decision. And ultimately, Andy witnesses that, and that's why Andy makes the choice not to follow in Miranda's footsteps. It has less to do with her, pursuing journalism in the end, than it has to do with her own personal conscience and like her priorities and her values. Yep. But yeah, it basically just tells us that the ending of the original movie is devoid of meaning, and Andy has learned nothing in the past 20 years that have passed since the original. The message ultimately is that Andy was right all along, and that fashion is beneath her, and journalism is actually far more important than art.
That's what matters.
And yeah, that's basically it. The whole thing
They did it, journalism.
The whole thing is an indictment of fashion in general, and there is simply nothing redeeming about this movie whatsoever. Like, the entire thing is just a soulless girl boss slop movie. I mean, there were even moments that were like so aspirational for the millennial girl boss audience, where she's on the phone screaming at people like, my boss is badder than your boss. And it's like, women actually think it's like cool to like have a boss. I don't know. Like, that's just,
is that like
the ultimate
is that
goal.
Like a boy on the playground saying, my dad could beat up your dad?
Literally, yeah. That's the childish like perspective that they are presenting as aspirational in the movie. I read recently this interview of the woman who Emily Blunt's character is actually based off of in real life, and she said that she felt like that book and the movie did her so dirty because she was kind of right to rebuke her coworker for not taking their industry seriously enough. She said, like, so many girls would kill to have this job, and you're being ungrateful and prideful to think that you are above this. But then you see the sequel totally represent her as someone who doesn't care about fashion at all and only cares about money and power and seeming impressive. Yeah. So I don't know, the whole thing just sucked. Okay. And the part of it that drove me crazy was seeing it in theaters and everyone just oohing and eyeing and guffawing at every quippy line. It was terribly written. There's no through line. There's no soul. It's just slop, and it looks like slop too.
All right.
Like, I would have written off a lot of the flaws in the story if it were actually nice to look at, but it was just ugly.
All right. Well, let's move on. Don't worry, guys. I see people in the chat saying move on. It sounds horrible. Well, it's going to get worse here today. We've got more stuff to get into.
Well, this is quite presumptuous, but the New York Post says you've heard of Ozempic butt, Ozempic fingers, Ozempic mouth, and Ozempic teeth. And now there is a new term added to the GLP-1 lexicon, Ozempic breath. And this is plaguing so many patients who are taking GLP-1 medications for weight loss and diabetes. The unexpected side effect being Ozempic breath. It's similar to keto breath. Basically, when your body goes into ketosis, it causes a chemical reaction where you have bad breath. In the case of Ozempic, it's because it slows digestion, causing food to linger and ferment in the stomach. Bacterial fermentation produces hydrogen sulfide gas and those icky sulfur burps. Great.
You know what
what's
it is?
Worse?
It really does put into perspective just what people will put up with to be thin.
But they won't put up with hunger?
No.
What I mean? They'll put up with all of this.
Order of importance,
not
right?
Hunger.
Order of importance. So this is something that would be uncomfortable for you and way more uncomfortable for anybody you're talking to. But what do they call it? Food noise? That's the ultimate pain, which is why we had to create body positivity. People couldn't quiet food noise. So body positivity had to literally be designed to make people okay with being fat. But now that you don't have to deal with food noise anymore, now you can just put up with the gross burps and the face that looks sunken in.
I think a certain type of person can find the natural process of weight loss enjoyable in a sick way. Like, you know, you have to expend a lot of energy and then not consume the energy that you expended. Like, that sucks. That's really hard. But so are all of these other side effects. Yeah. So pick your hard. That's the lesson, right?
Well, that's the meme, right? It's like getting rich is hard, but being poor is hard too. Like, pick your hard.
What's worse, these drugs can trigger dry mouth by reducing saliva production and can induce ketosis, which is linked to a distinct fruity, sweet, or metallic odor. Ozempic Breath can be embarrassing for GLP-1 users, but it's turned out to be good news for confectioners. So then they go into this report from a Hershey's earnings call the other day. The CEO was telling analysts and investors about the rise in sales for all of their products, especially mints and gum that people are using to counteract Ozempic Breath.
Yep.
And you would think that 1 in 8 Americans being on GLP-1 drugs would vastly decrease the sales of candy, but
no.
Au contraire, that is actually boosting business.
It says, we've also seen a strong demand for gum and mints as the category benefits from functional snacking tailwinds, including GLP-1 adoption, says CEO Kirk Tanner in a pre-recorded remark ahead of the company's earnings call. He's letting you know right now, it's time to get out there and buy your icebreakers, ice cubes, gum, so that you can fight this.
But that actually started to connect the dots for me because I actually have been seeing a lot of GLP-1 commercials lately, as well as commercials for gum.
Yeah, I saw a when we were watching the movie Left Behind, I'm not paying $4 for this to rent. I found it on Tubi. And I saw a legit Ozempic ad in the middle of it, and that's the first time.
Did you get the icebreakers ad?
I did. I don't think the thing is that wouldn't have clocked to me at the time, but now I might have to watch something on Tubi tonight to see if they show up like right next to each other.
Yeah, I have been getting ads for GLP-1s and specifically for, I think, Mentos mint gum.
I mean, if they were smart,
the same run.
If I was the company making the Wegovy or making the Ozempic, I'd also get into gum production.
It was a weird commercial, though. They have like a woolly mammoth transport itself into this woman's office and start blasting her in the face with snow.
I mean, I'm a fan, like, even though I don't like watching commercials, I'm a fan of how unhinged you have to be to write them.
Yeah.
You do have to be kind of unhinged.
It's something that I wouldn't have thought of myself. I'll give them credit there. But yeah, they say the boost to Hershey's gum and mint business is a positive for the company that makes sweets, as the expansion of weight loss drugs has curbed appetites and food purchases. Overall, GLP-1 users continue to buy candy and chocolate, in part because they are naturally packaged in small portions. So Kirk Tanner, the CEO, says, this is an emotional category. It's a treat, not a meal. He said Hershey was spending a lot of time researching the expanding use of GLP-1 drugs and incorporating that into its outlook. I'm imagining that they were panicking at first at the thought that people wouldn't want to eat candy anymore, but he says the confection category is relatively insulated compared to other food categories. GLP-1 users focus on eating foods with more protein to help preserve muscle mass, since rapid weight loss can cause them to lose both muscle and fat. Hershey said it also saw a 17% increase in consumption of its protein bars last quarter.
It's funny, too, because so I actually understand the mental process. When I buy candy or chips, I buy them from the dollar store because you get them in the $1.25 sized bag, which just prevents you from being a pig and eating... You know, it's just a natural deterrent from trying to eat more. Oddly enough, lately, I've just been eating Chex Mix, which I can't find in a small bag. So I have had to buy it in a bigger bag. But I do have a hack that works for me. Now, it might just be because I've been exercising more because it's spring and it's nicer out now. So I'm spending less time at home. You know, the saying, like, you're not hungry, you're bored. But just buy snacks you only kind of like. Don't buy ones you really like. Buy ones you'll put up with. That way you don't feel the need to eat all of it at once. Like, I buy Chex Mix because it's fine.
Yeah.
That way I don't want to eat more of it at one time. I just have like a handful, and then I'm like, that's fine. That's enough to be getting on with because it's not candy or a snack that I actually like a lot.
So it's sort of penitential in a way because it's not good enough to keep eating more and more and more of it.
That is my advice. Instead of the GLP-1, just buy crappy snacks.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I've always felt about the food that they sell at Starbucks. Like, it's just so obviously shitty, but you eat it because it's just like convenient and in the moment.
Yeah.
And it does feel a little bit like a punishment. They also note that other confection companies are seeing a boost in sales coinciding with the lift in sales of GLP-1s. Lindt is another one that saw premium chocolate sales rise faster last year among people using GLP-1 medications compared to those who weren't.
Lindt makes super small portion sizes, so that makes perfect sense.
And they also note that the Magnum ice cream company told investors data suggests that the growing adoption of GLP-1s will likely boost sales of its more expensive products, like those that come in smaller portions or offer more protein or contain real fruit, calling the trend the premium treat substitution effect. As consumers using GLP-1s are eliminating the low quality categories first, categories like premium chocolate, premium ice cream, and protein snacks could gain share in the overall snacking market. And, you know, all of the marketing that we've seen for years for these companies is starting to finally make sense, where they show like a thin woman who's like tucking in at the end of the day in her silky pajamas, feeling devilishly sexy. And then she goes to her freezer and gets her like mini ice cream bar out of the freezer. And like, she's like, I'm doing something bad.
Well, you know,
but it's
somebody,
like 200 calories.
Everybody needs to have their sweet treat.
Or like Brenda in the Closer. She has like this obsession with chocolate throughout the series, but she's thin. But she keeps this stash of secret chocolate in her desk and opens the drawer at the end of a stressful day after she just closed the case.
You know what? That's better.
Her brownie or her like Lindt truffle, and
that
she's
is
like,
better.
This is just hitting the spot.
That is better than what they would normally do in a police procedural, which is they'd pull the bottle of whiskey out from the desk.
Exactly.
And then they would drink a finger of whiskey. So instead of that, she's just pulling out the chocolate bar.
Right.
That's
But
positive.
instead of like getting a massive haul of like chicken tendies from McDonald's,
It's Michael Weston in Burn Notice eating yogurt.
You know, you can get your treat out of a bag of candy because they're portioned out perfectly.
Funny how all of these
on Ozempic.
It's funny how all of these industries, like we talk a lot, like I was joking with you earlier about, you know what, private equity is the problem. But here's the thing, like these companies have to make obscene amounts of money so they can do research on how medicine that has nothing to do with their business is going to affect their sales.
I bet like the toothpaste companies are also doing research about the effects of GLP-1 adoption, like different flavors of toothpaste that they can market to GLP-1 users to combat Ozempic Breath, making toothpaste feel like a treat.
I mean, it's completely plausible that the toothpaste company is owned by the same company making the GLP-1.
Yeah,
like, I don't know who owns them, but they're probably owned, what is like Procter & Gamble probably owns all of them.
I saw this guy recording a video. This is probably something he does on a regular basis. He recorded a video inside a drugstore looking at the toothpaste aisle, and there are like 200 options, and they're all from 2 different companies at most.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like the Dawn meme. Like, what do you get? Like Dawn Platinum, Dawn Power Wash, Dawn Platinum Plus. They're all different, and they all claim to be better than the last version. What do?
You don't do anything.
They're
Well, I mean, it's
experts.
like when they show you the toilet paper sizes. Like, do you want the regular roll, the mega super roll, or the super mega ultra roll?
Do I want clean or comfort or clean comfort plus?
Exactly.
What do I do?
Too many options. Too much to choose from.
My head is spinning right now.
So, you know, that's good news for everybody who's looking to get some chocolate, because they're going to probably be investing in new types of chocolate now, because they're gonna need to sell it to the people with the Ozempic Breath.
I think we have polled the audience before about this, and some people have said in the chat that they are taking a GLP-1, maybe not Ozempic, but a different version. Please let us know in the chat if you have noticed any of these side effects, and you're happy to share about it. Do you suffer from Ozempic Breath or Ozempic Fingers?
Yeah.
Or any of those other ones that we listed? It was just funny that they wrote it the way they did. Like, you've heard of Ozempic ass. Like, have I? I don't know.
But have you heard of the latest conundrum facing everybody who's getting thin in the fake way?
And like always, I am just going to say once again that we covered Ozempic on this channel before anybody knew that it existed. We were like one of the first channels to make a video about it, and it was
early
something
2021
like,
or late 2022, excuse me.
22, yeah,
22,
yeah. And it was like, this crazy new drug that's taking Hollywood by storm. They're clearing off the shelves, and diabetes patients can't get it anymore.
Jamila Jamil's even thinner than normal.
Yeah, but actually Jamila Jamil like isn't on it.
No, she's not. She was one of the people. She was one of the people I think who spoke out against it.
Yeah.
The naturally thin person is telling you shouldn't take this.
Crazy, right?
All right, what would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Let's see the cringe first.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure that I've got.
I sent you two today. This is a two-parter.
Okay.
I have no idea who either of these people are. I saw this totally out of context.
Says
but,
Santa Cruz was so disappointed with how far Dylan Latham has gone to ascend.
Okay, so Dylan is the guy on the top of the screen.
And Santa Cruz is this guy, and he's upset with the guy on top.
Yes.
The dude on top looks like a 16-year-old who's 40.
Yeah.
I think it's the hair mostly. Like, he looks like somebody. He looks like somebody took Chris Pine, sent him back in time, and then stung him with a bee. Like, his face is swollen. He's a little bit Chris Pine looking there. All right, let's listen.
Their eyes.
Listen, you know, like a sperm bank, how you go and like you donate.
Yeah.
So you can also take it and you can inject it in your face. So like my under eyes are like chatted now because I just injected shit in my face. And it's just like an absolute mug.
So maybe this is why your girl might think you're gay, 'cause you're injecting sperm onto your face.
It has nothing to fucking do with that, Santa Cruz.
That would have
Wait, why did he say his name?
everything to do with it. If I text my wife right now, hey, I'm gonna go put sperm on my face, you might think that's gay. What is going on with your
So there is another part here.
Okay.
Where Santa Cruz calls out, what is his name? Dylan?
Yeah.
For being gay.
Here we go. Oh.
First off, I'm the fucking villain, so I do what I want, right?
What is
and
this
people say
villain thing?
What'd you say?
What is this? Like why are you the villain? The villain to who?
I'm the fucking villain of social media, Santa Cruz. They thought it was Clad, they thought it was Togi, they thought it was my fucking girlfriend who thinks I'm fucking gay. I'm the fucking villain, Santa Cruz! I'm crazy as a motherfucker! I'm Mog. I'm a fucking LMTN and I Mog the fuck out of every other look smaxer, Santa Cruz.
I don't think his mic is plugged in.
Can't even sit down right now.
Crashing out.
And look, usually I would have to be worried about something sticking out here, but I have such bad erectile dysfunction, I don't even have to think about that anymore. Can I tell you this?
Yeah. So I don't know if this is true, but yeah, he has these marks on his face from injecting sperm cells.
I can see. Look, he's got rosy cheeks there.
Yeah, I guess that's from injecting sperm cells from sperm donors into his face. Seems a little gay, right? But no, not according to Dylan.
He says he's.
They're just new people popping up out of the ether.
He says
and you're
that
just like,
Clavicular
everyone
isn't the villain.
Is more idiotic than the last.
He's the villain. He can't be the villain. He's got like a 2-part name. You can't be the villain and have a 2-part name. You have to have a name like Clavicular or Madonna.
Or androgenic.
Yeah, like Andrew Tate can't even be the villain anymore because he's got 2-part name. Oh
Yeah.
boy. All right. Well, whatever.
So I guess that's the successor to
horrible.
Clavicular.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is the cute of the day from Sisu. It says, Mogwai, my personal line of Savo, he's a jerk with an aptly printed face.
Aww.
He looks friendly. I mean, he's kind of got his arm up on the couch like he's in charge.
He's chilling.
Yeah, it's a very cute picture. All right, remember, guys, you can submit your pets for Cute of the Day at me on X at Brett Dasovic. Remember, I am once again asking for pictures of your pets.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on. Let's get started.
Well, you guys probably know that Brett has been on a kick recently of talking about actors who have found that Hollywood is no longer paying and the jobs are drying up and they're not able to stay financially afloat through acting the way that they once did. And an example of that, I don't know if we ever did get around to covering this, is Shannon Elizabeth, who, has American Pie to thank for much of her career success. However, she has put acting behind her at this point and has joined OF. And in the first 7 days on the platform, earned over $1.2 million. That's right. 7 days, $1.2 million. And this was supposedly so that she could, they always phrase it this way, she wants to have a more close relationship with the fans.
Yes.
And she wants to show a side of her that no one has seen yet.
I love the corpo speak that they use around it.
Yeah.
Do we know if she's posting like that type of content, or is she just doing just the tradition, what a lot of these people do, which is they're not posting nudes at all?
I can't say that I have done research by subscribing to her OnlyFans, but I'm assuming that it's not full on.
She says she was tired of working in Hollywood where other people controlled the narrative and outcome of my career.
Right, which basically means she wasn't getting offered roles that paid what OnlyFans can pay.
Yeah.
And someone did respond to this headline about her earnings, saying, "This stuff is so depressing to me. Obviously, she has agency, but the current Hollywood economy is forcing these actors caught in career slumps to endorse degenerate male fantasies. It just reinforces porn brain. Obviously not trying to shame Shannon Elizabeth, to be clear."
Of course, they had to add the not shaming part.
Yeah, he also said, I looked up news about her OnlyFans on Reddit and Twitter, and these subscribers are freakazoids. And there's some screenshots that this person provided. One person responded to Shannon Elizabeth's original announcement about her OF, saying, "I am sick of people doing OF and not filming hardcore sex. I can't keep to bikini pictures, okay?" Another one said, "Did she forget that her titties are in the movie back when she was young and attractive?" Another one said, "If you're gonna pay for OF, let it be for someone like this, not some bum bitch from around the corner." Lots of different reactions.
Wow, those are like very different reactions. Like one person's mad that she's not doing more. Another person says you should give it to her because she's, I guess, of a higher social stature than the girl next door.
Than Sophie Rain, I suppose.
The person I was thinking about was Donna D'Erico or whatever. She was the Baywatch lady who eventually joined OF when she realized she could make more money doing that than, I guess, whatever you do. This is, unfortunately, fellas, a life hack for the ladies and not for the gentlemen. You're going to have to go and get a job. Well,
there was that one former Disney kid who started an OnlyFans, and his subscribers are all gay men.
Yes, I forgot about that.
And he found actually quite a lot of success on the platform. So it's fine. You can be a man who starts an OF. Just know that your subscribers are going to be other men. I didn't watch American Pie. I know you've seen it.
I have.
Was it particularly graphic the way that they claimed?
I mean, it doesn't feel that way to me, but it's been so long since I've seen it, and what is considered graphic back then is just not the same thing as what is considered graphic now. I gotta go rewatch.
Okay.
Maybe I'll rewatch it this weekend. Maybe we'll do a review of it.
One of the replies said that it wasn't that graphic of a movie. And
I don't remember it feeling
nudity
that
in
way.
it, but there was a scene where her character Nadia, the foreign exchange student, gets spied on while changing.
I didn't even remember her in the movie. Like it all came back to me after somebody reminded me about the foreign exchange student.
She claimed that she only did the role in order to get, launched into the mainstream and have more opportunities. But she did also say
That type of movie was
grateful.
That type of movie
role.
was very popular back then. Any type of raunchy comedy was very much popular at that time.
She literally said, everything I've done in my life is because of American Pie. Like, she then ended up getting to appear in the Scary Movie franchise, and Love Actually, most notably. But it's been a long time since she was working regularly, and I guess this is her retirement fund now. OnlyFans.
Well, the government's going to take a crap load of taxes out of that, so she better save it.
And I also wanted to mention this story that just came out about Ian Somerhalder. He was in The Vampire Diaries through its entire run on the CW from 2009 to 2017. That's a show that I tried to get into after I jumped on the Twilight bandwagon, probably during COVID, but I watched the pilot and I just couldn't stay interested in it.
Yeah. I watched a couple of episodes and was like, yeah, this one's definitely not for me.
He does have a very, teenager in their late 20s on the CW face.
Yes.
But he was also in Lost. And
I mean, the hallmark of the teenager in his late 20s on CW is like, wow, that teenager has spends a statistically large amount of time in the gym.
And has a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yes.
And a fully grown in 5 o'clock shadow, mind you. He recently did an interview actually at a beverage convention because he owns a bourbon company.
Yeah, with what's his name from Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, so he talked about this massive debt that he ended up in after retiring from acting and how he recovered with his wife, who, by the way, was one of the main characters in the Twilight franchise. So there's a weird vampire connection that they have together. He revealed in the interview that he was forced to claw himself and his family out of debt in the 8-figure range. The exact figure was not given, but definitely, $10 million or more of debt after he retired from acting. He said financial upheaval is part of the reason he had to leave his lucrative television career behind. And he actually started this company that ended up putting him in debt during the run of, toward the end of the run of the Vampire Diaries series. He gained prominence as Boone Carlyle on 4 seasons of Lost and then played Damon Salvatore on Vampire Diaries. He said, I retired from acting 7 years ago. I left an insanely lucrative career in television after financial upheaval from building a business that I didn't build properly.
It was a clean energy company that has not been named.
So that,
but he's an environmentalist. From I was reading about him, he does a lot of work in the world of environmentalism. Seems to be a very big passion of his.
Already, though, the way that he's framing it makes it sound like he was charged with a crime. I don't know the details, though. He said he was building a business and didn't build it properly. And due to fraud, it put my wife and I into an 8-figure hole.
Well, it figures like they're saying somebody else committed the fraud and now he's on the hook for what was done.
Yeah. Maybe it was investor fraud. I don't know. 8 figures is a hard hole to climb out of, but Nikki and I did it. She really negotiated us out of this deal, but we sold houses, paintings, cars, watches, everything. I should have been retiring off of one of the biggest TV shows in the world instead of starting companies that were not going to pay me possibly ever.
That's crazy because it was a CW show. And I've always been led to believe that for the most part, a lot of the actors that end up, making it on the CW shows, they're still working class in a lot of ways. Like maybe the number one on the call sheet, but even then, like Arrow, Stephen Amell's like still out here working. I don't know if he needs to, but he definitely is still out there working. I don't know if he ever wanted to retire off of it, but you know.
Well, if he's saying extremely lucrative, I'm sure he means that like with each passing season, he got a better and better deal to stay on the show.
Well, usually they sign
for 8 years.
So from what I remember, the people on Arrow signed 7-year contracts. Now I don't know if that means that if they hit certain points they can renegotiate those contracts after a certain amount of time, but usually that just means they were locked in where they had to at least appear for 7 seasons. I don't know what that meant for them financially.
Mm-hmm. And then he also posted about this on Instagram several years back. Didn't go into much detail then either, but he said about his wife that she decided she didn't want to see her husband ruin his body, mind, and spirit, and pulled up her bootstraps, got down in the trenches, assembling a team to get the negotiating table to find a way out. She devoted her life to getting me out of that mess, and it almost killed her along the way. I am where I am because of this woman.
He dated Nina Dobrev before he dated her.
Was it because that she was on Vampire Diaries as well?
I believe so. Or maybe she was in Twilight. I don't know. You know what else this made me think of? Clean energy is not the way to go. Do you know what the way to go is apparently in Hollywood? He's doing it, which is beverage companies. I remember this story from like last week about Miles Teller cashing out on a canned cocktail company for $325 million. Bro, that can't be real. It says it wasn't exactly an obvious entry point. The leading man, I don't know if I'd call him a leading man, but that's the
aspiring leading man.
The guy who's not quite Glenn Powell. The leading man landed a minority stake in the Long Drink Company, makers of an eponymous ready-to-drink spritzer native to Finland, consisting of gin and grapefruit soda. Now he joins an elite group, one of surprisingly few celebrities to cash out significantly on a booze deal. The Finnish Long Drink Company sold to the Mark Anthony Group of companies, makers of White Claw, a top-selling seltzer brand, for a reported $325 million. Now, I don't know. I think what they're saying is the company sold for $325 million. I don't think he made $325 million.
I'm sure it was a very respectable sum, though.
Yes.
This is the end game now for actors in the current industry. We're joined by a black square.
Sorry about that. We got 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie. Says it's common for the later years of those 7-year talent and 20 deals to have bonuses or back-end syndication percentages based on ratings. They're written in such a way that they rarely get them. Well, the thing is, though, is like it wouldn't matter if they got a syndication deal because the CW shows went to Netflix. Like that was the big deal. I don't think they're there anymore, but like Netflix had a deal with the CW shows to get them right before the new season started airing. So unless they got those,
that would have been in the early 2010s, right? So like around the middle
2012.
of this. Yeah, around the smack in the middle of the run of Vampire Diaries is probably when that happened. So he had a chance maybe to renegotiate at that point.
Yeah. I mean, they were making a lot of money per episode. It's just a matter of like how much are you spending on agents, how much are you spending on managers, and all of that stuff.
And now, supposedly, he has gotten himself out of 8-figure debt with a bourbon company. Once again, this is the end game. You should not end up on OnlyFans. Just sell alcohol. It's so easy. You don't have to sell sex, just sell booze.
Shannon Elizabeth, have an American Pie flavored spritzer.
Sure. Yeah. Yes. Or even go Tom Holland's route. You can sell zero alcohol beer.
Barrow.
0 alcohol percentage beer is Tom Holland's new business venture. I don't know. It seems to be selling quite well.
I imagine like the ones that are even riskier get into the cannabis business too.
Did Snoop Dogg do that?
Oh yeah, but a lot of other ones have as well.
It's just, I know that this comes off as like so, 90s conservative of me, but it's just like sad when you look around and it's just all like it's all just sex, booze, and gambling everywhere now. Like it's really getting to a point.
Well, the difference is in the 90s when it was happening, and somebody like me would have seen that stuff and been like, oh, sweet. Like it was countercultural at that time.
Yeah.
Now it's the dominant force in society. It's everywhere.
There is a DraftKings owned bar on Broadway right in Nashville.
Yeah.
And I don't know the legality of I didn't go inside. I don't know for sure, but like, are there slot machines in there? Like what's going on? Or is it just a place where they encourage you to gamble on your phone while drinking?
It's so depressing.
And then, all of these celebrities.
Ironically, it has the sign that says like, turn off your phone, talk to people.
Yeah.
But if that person is your bookie in the booth next to you.
But also, like, tons of these artists are, opening bars on Broadway, and I'm sure in other cities as well. Like, Post Malone has his own bar here, and Morgan Wallen has his own bar here, and Kid Rock, and John Rich, and, tons of these stars. And not only their own bars, but their own lines of alcohol.
Okay, so
too.
celebrities and actors owning restaurants is something that goes back decades. It's just they usually don't last super. Remember, Mark Wahlberg
like
has Wahlburger.
Was a necessity.
No, if anything, it was a side project of extremely successful actors, not a way to make ends meet if you're looking to survive in the industry.
Yeah, so things have changed pretty dramatically. I guess Ian Somerhalder's story is not as cut and dry, since it sounds like he made some bad decisions himself.
They also don't mention that he's still producing. He's not acting anymore, but he's still very much a producer in the industry, which means he's still working and making money.
Well, his reasoning behind stepping away from acting was because it wasn't compatible with a lifestyle that he wanted now that he had a marriage and children to think about. He said, I remember sitting with my management talking about this, saying, this is the only thing I've ever known that's ever sustained my family, and I'm walking away from it at the peak. I say this in all humility and respect, but I would much rather do this than go spend 2 months in some city shooting a TV show away from my family or transporting my family back and forth. Once you reach a certain level, you're like, I want to focus on family and the future of farming and food and energy.
Yeah,
he moved
to a farm.
I don't need to chase awards and anything that would make me feel better about myself.
I remember when Chris O'Donnell got hired to do NCIS LA, he took it specifically because it was in LA and his family lived in LA, and he's like, I can actually make it home to my wife and kids every night, which is what mattered to him. I mean, on top of the fact that it was like a network TV show and you're going to end up, that's like one of the few places where you'll make generational wealth. If you're leading a network show that goes for that many seasons.
I think at some point last year, we did a segment about Zachary Levi's plans for his production compound in Austin, or maybe outside of Austin. And I think part of his pitch for that is to like offer actors a place where they can work and stay in one city instead of traveling in order to go to like LA or off, maybe even like international destinations for filming. Like the soundstage aspect of it was like part of his pitch for investors. Yeah. So that was interesting.
Yep, that's very good. We got a 20 here from
Thank you. Good timing with that one.
Okay, from Pop Culture Junkie says, with taxes, especially state taxes in California, agent, manager, PR person, and lawyer, percentages most actors end up with between 40 and 55% net of what they're paid. So it's all going to pay off the rest of the people in the state.
Do we have any other
that's
20s?
That's the 20. So okay. We can move on, though. Let's move on.
All right. So back in 2024 is when we originally talked about this. There was a fiercely competitive bidding war over a certain novel that had not even published yet. And the story revolves around a Tradwife influencer who is very thinly disguised as some mix between Nara Smith and Hannah Nealman, aka Ballerina Farm. And they also sold the rights to a film adaptation going on at Amazon. We're finally coming to the fruition of those plans now. Anne Hathaway is starring in and producing this movie called Yesteryear, after the novel's title. So I want to just first talk about Nara Smith, because she has proven time and time again that she is a genius at business. She's publishing a cookbook. She wants to be sort of a Gen Z Martha Stewart, and it's called Homemade. She did this outrageously campy photo shoot to promote it. And in conjunction with the announcement of the cookbook, did an interview with Vanity Fair, where, of course, they asked her the usual questions.
I wish I had a skirt that allowed me to carry my breakfast around on it.
I like the concept here, right?
Yes.
Like, she's one with the table. Of course, Vanity Fair had to ask her about the implications that she is associated with fundamentalist religious groups and conservatism and tradwifery. And she did actually have to issue an official response to that. She said, let me find the quote. It
is weird to me
about playing a character.
It is weird to me how so much of what we're looking at here is like everybody's trying to tie it back to like gender norms, when really it's just the corporatized image of like a Rachel Ray or a Martha Stewart or any of these women who make a career off of women who, you know, do work in the home. Tiffany Thiessen does this now.
Yeah, when did it become such a political, like a politically charged
I don't know
issue? Like,
this is kind of what Tiffany Thiessen's brand is now, after she doesn't act as much anymore, but she does like cooking stuff.
So they asked her, do you feel like playing dress up is a better descriptor of your work than tradwife? And she said yes. She said, I've never quite understood where that title tradwife comes from, because I don't know what is traditional about our life. I am a full-time working mom. I work, so does Lucky, her husband. It's a modern relationship. I think it might have been because I love cooking, but cooking is my love language. It's a hobby of mine, and it's my job. It's not something that I am condemned to do. But people are so committed to that narrative. Now, I also want to mention that Nara Smith just got cast in a totally separate movie called Tyrant, which is pitched as a culinary thriller in the vein of Wall Street and Whiplash, set within New York City's elite fine dining scene. So she's getting into Hollywood at the same time that Hollywood is getting into her, and they're really obsessed with telling a fiction story about her and Ballerina Farm and all of these other sort of Christian or Christian adjacent tradwife influencers that are gaining followers. And Anne Hathaway is going to be playing the titular character. She bought the rights to the novel about a tradwife influencer who wakes up in 1855 and has to actually live the life that she has been promoting online. Now, the original...
I don't see any I don't see any ring lights. Nor do I see like her flower.
Well, this is her rude awakening.
Yes.
Here, where she wakes up in the trad era and has to make her way in the world. But the synopsis says Yesteryear is about Natalie, a woman who lives a traditional lifestyle. Her charming farmhouse on a ranch is rustic and cluttered. Her husband, a handsome cowboy. Her 6 children, each more delightful than the last. So what if there are nannies and producers behind the scenes? Her kitchen hiding industrial-grade fridges and ovens. Her husband, the Republican equivalent of a Kennedy. Her oldest daughter beginning to ask questions about whether her mother is a tradwife. What Natalie's followers, all 8 million of them, don't know won't hurt them. And the angry women, the privileged Ivy League coastal elite haters who call her an anti-feminist iconoclast, they're just jealous. Natalie isn't simply living the good life. She's living the ideal of what life should be, and just so happens to be building an empire from it. Then she wakes up in a life that isn't hers. Her home, husband, and children, all familiar, but something is off. Her kitchen is lit by a fire rather than electricity. Her children are dirty and disheveled. Her soft husband is suddenly a competent farmer. Her daughter informs her that it's 1805, where just yesterday Natalie was curating photos of homemade sourdough for Instagram. She's now expected to haul firewood and hand wash clothes until her hands bleed.
Lol.
Has she become the unwitting star of a brutal reality show? Could it really be time travel? Is she being tested by God, by Satan? Already reckoning with forces beyond her control, when Natalie becomes pregnant with her new husband's child, it's quickly becoming apparent that it doesn't matter how she got here. All that matters is how she gets out. And I read a review of this book that the movie is going to adapt in EV Magazine. It was titled something like, I'm a Tradwife influencer, and I read this book to see what all the hype is about. And they gave a better synopsis of the story there. They say the narrator, Natalie, is a 32-year-old influencer who amasses millions of followers by posting about her pioneer-like lifestyle. Unbeknownst to her audience, staff keep the household running, her marriage is strained, and her children hate being filmed. One day, she wakes up in a place that looks like her home, except it's the early 19th century. The plot follows her as she tries to make sense of what happened and find her way back. The story alternates between past and present to show how she achieved internet stardom. She meets her husband, Caleb, at a church group. After they marry, she finds herself pregnant at 20, and her husband is more of a buffoon than she expected. Natalie and her in-laws scramble to find Caleb a job, and she lands on the perfect answer: social media. After a manosphere streamer mentions her account, she is catapulted to fame, and she hopes happiness. As the story develops, she proves anything but content. When a scandal erupts at her ranch, she is swiftly canceled and her world unravels. Then comes the twist. She isn't in the past at all, but in a future of her own making. After the scandal drives her into madness, she turns yesteryear ranch into a full pioneer fantasy, living as though it were the early 19th century. By the end, she is deluded. Her children are taken after the police find her, leaving her with what she sees as the worst fate, being alone with her husband. The novel closes with the two of them casually saying they hate each other. So there's the plot. There's the spoiler. Sorry if I spoiled it for you, but you could have seen that one coming.
The worst
clumsily
person
gets to the conclusion where basically the whole thing was an illusion. She created it in her mind.
I couldn't help look. All that's horrible, and the worst person you know probably thinks that sounds awesome. But it got me to thinking more about the idea of the celebrity chef, and that's really the only difference here is that she's doing it at home as opposed to Rachel Ray, who's cooking in a studio that looks like.
But you have a home studio.
Yes. So it's just funny. I found a Rachel Ray quote where they were talking about in June 2009. Ray stated that hard work was too much for her to be a mother. So it's like she's not even a mom, but she's not. So maybe the kids really are the sticking point here. These people are really angry that Nara Smith and them have kids.
But Martha Stewart had kids.
Yeah, but Martha Stewart got street cred when she went to prison. So,
she was always revered and had. She was hugely successful, and her work was never politicized to the degree that Ballerina Farm or Nara Smith get dragged the way they do.
I think there's a
different time where people were less suspicious.
It's not about suspicion. I think it's about there is so both of them are selling you a prepackaged idea that with a ton of money behind it. It's just that one of them, because it's filmed on a phone at their home, feigns the money and the power of the message. Whereas when you're watching Rachel Ray or Martha Stewart, you're literally watching it on broadcast television where contracts had to be signed and people had to be employed to film, that that there's somebody behind the camera lighting the room, holding the camera. There's a dude working the soundboard there. There's a lot of very, very obvious work that goes into it, and the work that goes into making a Nara Smith's life look as blissful as it does is a lot more calculated and well hidden.
I suppose that's true, but at the same time, Nara Smith in that very Vanity Fair interview says, verbatim, I am building an empire. When was that? She literally just comes right out and says it.
When was that interview?
It was I don't know, a couple weeks ago.
Okay, that's the problem. That's a couple weeks ago. This has been going on for a lot longer than a couple of weeks. So that statement being made a couple of years ago might have made a difference.
I just don't understand why all of the burden of proof, I don't know. I'm using that phrase probably in the wrong context, but it's like the burden of proof is all on her, where the audience isn't responsible at all for interpreting what they're seeing.
Also, there is something pointed and specific about making my husband specifically like Cheez-Its from scratch or something like that. It is very much sold as some type of fetishistic fantasy.
Well, I wouldn't say that Nara Smith or Ballerina Farm in particular take it to that gross, like, fetishistic place. I do think a lot of Tradwife influencers do, and there is a fetishistic element to a lot of that content. The most well-known examples of Tradwives, though, like Tradwife influencers, being Nara Smith and Hannah Nealman, they don't do that. So basically, the author has been doing promo. She's been doing press because the book literally just came out after all this time. And they ask her, of course, about these real life examples, and she refuses to elaborate. And she basically just says that she took a lot of inspiration from a lot of different places, and she wanted to get inside the mind of a Tradwife influencer and humanize them. But that doesn't make any sense when you have the context about this fictional character.
That doesn't
Natalie,
humanize them at all.
who is a monster through and through. She wrote Natalie to have zero redeeming qualities.
Yeah.
And she's a completely one-dimensional character. And even, people who were initially interested in this book, who probably have left like liberal feminist sympathies, have reviewed it honestly and said that it's a terribly written book, that it has very little synthesis in the plot. There's very little consistency. And it basically is something that seems like it was put through an AI, a language model engine to write a fictional account of, Nara Smith's life as a horror thriller. Like, that's how it comes off.
It's
and
going to come
not
across
meant to humanize them at all. And they would do anything but actually talk to one of these women in order to learn about them and what they actually think.
And funnily enough, if they were to market this movie, it will be dichotomous in that they'll have to sell it on like pretty frilly dresses and the what you call it, like the picturesque life of like a mom who's at home, has a great husband, has great kids, can wear cute clothes and all that stuff. That's how they'll have to send it. Kind of like selling your movie about domestic abuse on Wear Your Florals, like Blake Lively.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna have to market it in a deceptive way, and then you're gonna show up and have no idea.
Otherwise, the movie sounds like it's made for dudes.
Yeah,
in a world.
It's lame. I mean, this is a broader point. I just don't like the fact that influencers have been put in this place where they're on a pedestal and they have to treat their audience like children and spoon feed them everything, including the expectation that you issue a disclaimer for everything you do and say.
Yep.
Like, they're expecting to see a trigger warning, essentially, before anything that Nara Smith or Ballerina Farm posts that says, this was scripted, this was filmed, I have staff that work on my farm, I have a marketing team, I have a ring light and a professional camera and blah, 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 blah. No, you can just, like, you can pretty much use inductive reasoning to figure all of that out on your own because you're a grown-up with a brain, and they don't need to spoon feed you a dissertation's worth of disclaimers about their own life. Like, it's not hurting you. And there's nothing wrong with presenting an idealized image of something, as long as you have faith in the audience not to base their entire life and self-esteem on it. Like, This is something that I posted about the other day. Like, women who have these pipe dreams of becoming homesteaders and they have no idea what kind of work goes into it. And if they actually did have to take care of a self-sufficient homestead or even a smaller obligation like a vegetable garden, they would just be, you know, hapless and have no idea what they're doing. And they pretty much just like the aesthetic Pinterest boards.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's not to knock anybody who's actually doing it. I'm actually saying the real homesteaders are very impressive.
It's stolen valor.
Work very hard.
It's like a desire for stolen valor. You want to go do it until you realize how much work it actually is to do.
Right, exactly. And then, you know, people of course misinterpreted me and they said like they seem to think that I was talking trash about the people who actually do it in real life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking trash about the people who idolize the imagery that idealizes it on social media and have none of the work ethic and, you know, like values that have to go with it and like actually executing it in real life. But yeah, I think that this is clearly a hit piece that's disguised as art. It's a hit piece about these particular women. It's meant to be a takedown.
It's the like I don't know how much I can say that a movie being made from such a place of anger is ever going to be good. You can make an angry movie that comes from a place of curiosity, but I don't know if you can make a movie from a place of anger and judgment that ends up appealing to anybody more than the boxed wine ladies who would already want to watch this. But you're not going to pull in somebody else because your motives are clear.
More nuanced stories have been told about Hitler than Ballerina Farm at this point.
All right, let's move on. We've got Sharon Osbourne. She might be in trouble, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, this headline is a doozy. Sharon Osbourne is a far-right AI slop fan. So just picture your average, like, MAGA Facebook boomer aunt who falls for AI-generated content of Trump and Elon Musk dancing to Stayin' Alive, but then, like, make it British. That's Sharon Osbourne. That's her For You page. And she recently commented on an AI-generated video of a British rapper who goes by the name Danny Bones. And all of his content is basically right-wing propaganda. I'm not saying that I inherently disagree with the message. I don't particularly care about it because I'm not British. But here is the music video that she commented on.
I hope we don't get like copyright claimed here, but let's listen to what let's listen to what Danny Bones has to say. On, here we go.
Where you look, see a British flag flying. I hate to confess that I'm seeing pride die in England. This is England. Don't ask why I'm England till
He absolutely would have been a villain in a Statham movie as kind of like the evil antithesis to his bald-headed good guy.
This is
And as I said before to you, I said he looks like Ajax from Deadpool in 2016. Somebody in the chat will know what I'm talking about. Okay.
So in the video, in case you're listening rather than watching, Danny Bones is walking down the street, and then he becomes the anti-hero in this story by leading a pro-British patriot protest through the streets.
It's the Patriot Front, isn't it?
And they're flying the controversial flag over there, as opposed to the Union Jack. They're flying the original English flag.
Mm-hmm.
And Sharon Osbourne commented on this Instagram post saying, love this song.
She loves the song.
This is English. And even the lyrics are so AI generated. Like, it's like, this is England. Don't ask why. I am England till I die or something.
Literally just find words that rhyme.
Yeah, it's what was that country singer, the AI country singer we were talking about? It was like Rust something, Breaking Rust.
Yeah, yep.
It was pretty much the same vibe, but make it British. So it turns out Danny Bones believe it or not, is not a real person. And he was created by a shadowy project called Node.
I love they called it a shadowy creative agency.
Yeah,
very shadowy.
that uses Danny Bones as a character to intervene in politics, including in the Gorton and Denton by-election. Oh my gosh, British politics are just so like not real to me. I don't even know what this means. So I looked further into the Node project. They have a website up. And it turns out like Danny Bones is basically all they've got going on right now.
You got to work on that.
He's like posing on the website with the Union Jack cape and in front of a halal butcher shop, by the way. And they say, back the vision. Everything you've seen from the Node project so far has been built organically. No advertising, no outside funding, just people discovering it because it resonates. The reason it connects is simple. We actually believe in what we're creating and people can feel that. That's what real art has always come from. Something honest, something that says something, something that moves culture forward. That's the spirit behind the Node project. Music, imagery, message, Danny Bones, and the wider creative world around it. Everything stays public, the music stays free, the videos stay free, the content stays free, nothing is going behind a paywall. If you can't support, don't worry, nothing changes. We'll keep building, releasing, and pushing the project forward regardless. Node founding memberships are for the people who want to support the project early and help us see the vision through from the ground up. So they're asking for donations right now in order to support the project, but no one knows who is really behind this thing.
We need to send a message to Sargon of Akkad and ask him if he's up on this.
So Danny Bones not only is a rapper, a musician, he's also a storyteller. And they have released a couple of different independent projects starring Danny Bones. The one you're about to see is an audio book, I suppose.
My goodness,
he's talking about Holy Week.
He wears a suit just as well as he wears a leather jacket. My goodness, can fit into anything. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Holy Week, the most important week in Christianity, and most people don't even know what happened. A country built on it that's lost its way. So this week, we're going back to the start. It begins with Palm Sunday. Jesus rides into Jerusalem, welcomes like a king, crowds shouting, Hosanna.
Who looks suspiciously, in my opinion, like Jonathan Rumi, but that's me.
Palm branches covering the road. It looks like victory. But this week,
there's just something like very unnerving about, first of all, just depicting Jesus with AI in general, but also the fact that he is like narrating this devotional Christian podcast for British people specifically. It's about like reconnecting with the Christian roots of their national history, and I guess I understand that, but the other one was a little more unsettling because it appears to be a dystopian audiobook about an upcoming civil war.
Let's listen to this one.
2029. 4th year of the Civil War. Still sounds strange saying that now. Civil War. Nobody called
Where the hell is there a twin pool over there talking about this? We need to find out.
it that when it started. Government didn't have the balls. It was unrest, they said. Disorder. Tensions. Same old words while the country was very clearly falling apart. I'm up in the lakes now. Little stone cottage, middle of nowhere. Quiet enough to write. Quiet enough to think, which is...
For as dystopian as it is, to still have like an internet connection is impressive.
Yeah, that's wild.
half the fucking problem. I was involved in all of it more than I should have been. And I can already feel people starting to lie about what this was. There was the Patriots, the Islamic Front, Westminster.
Yeah, so this whole thing just feels a little bit like predictive programming.
Yeah.
It feels like a way to maybe I don't want to say that it's inciting people to violence, but I don't know. Like, do you get those vibes?
I mean, I get the vibes that they're trying to maybe not start a civil war, but to push people towards the idea that they better pick a side. Otherwise, this is what could possibly happen.
Yeah, I suppose that's the plausible deniability there. But Novara Media goes into a little bit more detail about Node Project here. They say in March, the Bureau of Investigative Journalism revealed links between the Node Project and Ben Habib's Advance UK, a far-right party that emerged from his split from Reform UK. At the time, Danny Bones' content had racked up nearly 3 million views across YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. The AI music video clip for This Is England that Sharon Osbourne commented on features him walking along a high street with people varying ethnicities, strung with flags from Pakistan, Ghana, Palestine, Nigeria, and a confused AI slop version of South Africa. While he sings, "I hate to confess that I'm seeing pride dying," and then leads a crowd of white men carrying St. George's crosses with their fists in the air. Elsewhere in the full song, he bemoans that benefits are rampant, the borders are opening. His videos often feature nationalist imagery and civil unrest against a backdrop of a crumbling Britain, featuring boarded up shops, young black men with their hoods up, and a statue of Winston Churchill spray painted red. In another, he goes on a rampage through dystopian Britain with an assault rifle before sharing a kiss with the cute goth girl character called Amelia.
Wait, is that the lady from the diner? Is that the diner goth?
I don't know. It says it was Amelia, once a home office anti-radicalization character. I remember this from last year, I believe, when this went viral. Like they memed this character from some sort of anti-radicalization PSA co-opted by the far right and now added into the Danny Bones extended universe. His most recent video is a memoir of an imagined UK civil war between patriots and the Islamist Front, entering its 4th year in 2029. He has courted, they then go on to say Sharon Osbourne.
I forgot about that.
Controversy.
She was going to the Tommy Robinson march.
Yeah, appearing to support far-right political figures and causes. This just happens when, you're old and you don't care as much about people liking you on social media and you actually say what you think.
See, that's funny because maybe in the US, if we were as strict on immigration as we could be, she would have never made it over here. But now she's going home where she has to worry about immigration at home.
She's like almost as based as Brigitte Bardot, RIP. Earlier in April, she responded to a video of former EDL leader Stephen Yaxley Lennon, better known as Tommy Robinson, promoting this year's Unite the Kingdom rally via citizen journalism account Gauchi Reports. Last year's event drew between 100,000 and 150,000 people to London. Those numbers are hotly contested, by the way. Some people claim it was up to 1 million. Who knows? Yeah. And they heard far-right influencers and anti-Islam politicians from around the world speak. Sharon Osbourne's official account posted "See you at the march" under the Instagram video of Tommy Robinson. In response, a charity called Centerpoint said it would cut ties with her after recently engaging her as an ambassador for one of their campaigns. They said of the march, "This sort of event does not align with our values." And the account that she commented on replied to her saying, "Yes, Sharon," and then posted celebrating her support with the caption, "Confirmed, Sharon Osbourne, see you at the march. The Queen of Rock replied to my Instagram post yesterday. After years of watching Britain change, especially her hometown of Birmingham, she is standing up." And Danny Bones also appears to endorse Sharon Osbourne in return, with a new video where there is an Ozzy Osbourne poster in the background of his AI-generated bedroom. So looks like Danny Bones, or whoever is behind Danny Bones' account, is reaching out in an act of goodwill to
do you
Sharon
think
Osbourne, who's getting dragged right now for her right-wing sympathies.
Do you think it's because she's like super pro-Israel or something like that? Is that what it is?
What is
she's
like
she
why,
she
what?
fought like so because the video was talking about like in the one video it talks about the Islamists. Is just specifically her support of Israel?
Yeah, I'm sure that's connected to it because
She follows House and Habit and Tom McDonald on Instagram.
yeah, I mean there is definitely going to be overlap there.
Yeah.
Like between people who are pro-Israel, like Zionists, and are anti-Islam mainly because of that, and people who are anti-Islam mainly because of like the migration issue.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like she is at an age now. Her husband has since passed, where she doesn't have to give a fuck anymore.
You know, now that I see the AI generated Amelia that's on the Danny Bones account, it looks like they stole Britney Spears' face for her. But
so?
that's just my theory.
Yeah, I think a lot of this has to do
The whole
with...
thing like, is kind of creepy.
I think a lot of this just has to do with her, I'm assuming, being Jewish, because she follows Holocaust Educational Trust, Jewish News. You know, I'm sure that this is a cause that matters a great deal to her. And she is now at an age where she doesn't really have to think about whether people like her opinions on immigration or not.
Yeah, and good for her for not caring. Maybe she shouldn't be using a smartphone, though. I just feel bad for people who like lived the majority of their adult lives without these things.
Yeah. Did you see the thing the other day about like the rage bait post on X about the lady talking about like my apartment complex put in like smartphone like laundry, so like you have to use an app to buy your time in the laundry room. And like the apartment is like all old people, so none of them can fucking do it. I mean, I don't know if I even buy it. It seemed like rage bait copy pasta, but like still.
That's true. That is horrible.
It is. She actually has a hold on. Let me see if I think she has like an Instagram story thing for Brigitte Bardot.
Oh, that's telling.
Like a highlight story.
Okay, based Sharon Osbourne?
Yeah, she does. Let me see if I can right there.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, get well soon, Sharon.
All right. Let's go to Super Chats. We're like 2/3 of the way to a second crisis party, guys. Come on, it's Friday. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but
Burned Oils said, Mary, glad you're finally starting to admit you were wrong about Sydney. Only a strong woman can admit that.
I don't remember you having strong opinions one way or the other about Sydney Sweeney.
I really never did, honestly. I don't really understand the outrage against her. I also don't understand the performative praise of her as some sort of right-wing person. She doesn't seem to have very strong principles after especially what we've seen from the 3rd season of Euphoria. The stuff that she was doing is absolutely disgusting, and undignified and pornographic. So, I mean, yeah, I stand by everything that I've said because everything I said was how I genuinely feel. Brian Bledsoe said, that was the Kentucky Derby chat. Burned Oil said, did the dentist look down and say... I don't know what that says.
It is kind of crazy that they just like talk to you.
Actually, they didn't do that to me this time.
They're
Maybe they've learned. They learned their lesson.
It's even worse when it's like, it's one thing if they are like just talking to you and they're kind of talking. It's worse if they're like asking you pointed questions. And you're like, oh, that's supposed to answer?
They didn't do that to me this time. I don't know. I feel like they finally realized that, that's kind of embarrassing. But yeah. Robert Delara said, Mary, during the movie, did you say out loud, damn, this movie sucks? I should have gone to see that shark movie, Deep Water.
Apparently there's a shark like survival movie called Deep Water that just came out. I've not heard
I've
one
never
thing
heard
about
of it until now.
I like looked it up to make sure I wasn't reading some weird quote that neither of us were going to get the reference on, but apparently there is a movie called Deep Water.
I remember going to see The Meg 2 because one of my brothers wanted to see it. It was like the dumbest thing ever. I slept for like 80% of it.
Deep Water 2026 with Aaron Eckhart. Okay.
But no, I mean, I don't regret seeing it because I'm glad that I have an opinion that's formed based on what it actually is.
Yep.
You know. Weary Traveler said, "What is Mary's opinion on the iced mang cream matcha from Starbucks?"
I don't know what that is.
Oh, so they have like mango flavored cold foam at Starbucks.
Ugh.
I did try it. I think I did try it a couple of weeks ago. It's okay. It kind of tastes like yogurt though.
Ugh.
Like, I don't know what the point of a fruit flavor in any sort of like tea or coffee would be.
That doesn't sound good to me.
It was okay. It was okay. I still prefer pistachio, salted caramel. What else? Brown sugar, cold foam also. Pumpkin is the best, but it's not in season right now. Pat the Plumber said, "Brett, please stop this."
That was sent during the Devil Wears Prada 2 review. I think you sufficiently talked them out of going to see it.
Oh, don't worry. They weren't going to see it anyway. Yeah. Shane H. Wilder said, "With Mary's review of The Devil Wears Prada 2, I was able to resurrect the Mary movie reviews meme. I haven't used it since Joker 2. It is out now." What is the... I don't remember this now.
I saw this. Hold on. Let me pull it up here. Go to my...
It's been a long time since Joker 2. I can't hear it.
It's just coming attraction music.
It
That was
stinks.
literally-
It says it stinks. It stinks at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's about as bad as I expected.
Yeah.
So I can't say I'm disappointed, you know? I protected myself from being disappointed.
I had a realization last night, ladies and gentlemen. I put on Mortal Kombat. Not the 1995 Paul W.S. Anderson masterpiece Mortal Kombat, but the 2021 crap that's coming out during COVID Mortal Kombat, which is...
Did it come out in theaters in 2021?
I saw it on HBO Max. I didn't go see it in theaters. And I now preemptively feel horrible for my wife, who is going to have to go and see this with me, because I didn't realize... I forgot how much actual blood was in the opening scene with Hanzo. And like, it's funny. I was watching it and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Oh, Olivia's going to hate this.
Is she squeamish about gore scenes?
It's I don't think it's that. It's just not her thing. And it's not really gore. Like, gore would be like if you saw like brain matter coming out. It's a little bit more like it's a little...
it's not gore. It's just some guy getting stabbed in the skull.
Yeah, but that's unironically what I mean by that, which is that it's just a little bit more willing to not cut away.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember which rating it got, if it got R or a PG-13. But
it sounds like the ultimate go movie.
Not really.
Which means I'm automatically not interested.
It's going to be interesting. I'm imagining, like, from the reviews that I've heard, people have said that the 2026 Mortal Kombat 2 is the movie that the Mortal Kombat 2021 wanted to be. So it's going to focus more on Johnny Cage, obviously, because he wasn't in the first one. A lot of people were concerned because Carl Urban is no spring chicken, as they say, but they say it works in the story. So I'm excited to see it.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Did Dog just say he artificially inseminated his face?"
That's what he said.
I have no words. Thanks. I hate it. Yeah, I don't know if that's even true because it doesn't sound legal. Like, how do you even access... Obviously, everybody knows that there are sperm banks, but they're used by, like, IVF and stuff. They don't just sell it to you on the street for just anybody to inject in their face. I don't even know what the bro science is behind that. Is it supposed to be like Botox or is it a testosterone supplement? Like, I do not understand.
Mortal Kombat 2021 was R-rated. That makes perfect sense. I never needed to know because I saw it on HBO Max.
I guess it's just like, it sounds like such a typical slop go movie that I would write it off before even watching a trailer.
Well, it's very hard for me to to care about it because I love the 1995 Mortal Kombat so much. But I get part of me wanted to kind of do a bait and switch where I show Olivia the 1995 one first, and then we go into the sequel where it's obviously going to be nothing like that because it's been 30 years.
Burned Oil said, Mary, people using OnlyFangs are not simps. They are pimps because they get what they want for the money they paid and are happy.
I don't think that's what a pimp is.
Yeah, that's not... I mean, unless you just mean that you think it's respectable, which it's not. And happy is a strong word. Also, they're literally, they're coming out and admitting that they're paying for something and they're not getting what they want because she's not taking her clothes off.
They're like, this is a waste.
Yeah, they are simps, but if you want to self-report, that's fine. That just means you're one of the simps. It's not too late to change your ways. Robert Delara said, Shannon Elizabeth joining OF. Is Tara Reid not far behind?
I mean,
I did see some comments about Tara Reid under that post.
I mean, she's got Sharknado money, right?
Well, is that going to last you through the 2030s?
I mean, they did. It's Denise Richards joined, so it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, Denise Richards. I got to add that to my list of two people that are the same, even though they don't look alike. Denise Richards and Tara Reid are pretty much the same person.
Wait, let me look them up.
They don't look alike.
They don't look alike.
They're just the same archetype to me.
Oh yeah, well, no, I mean, I see it now. They do look alike, actually.
Like I have this list of
old photos
of like actors that, and I it's one of those things where I can't actually explain it why I think that they're the same, but it is like Colin Farrell and Russell Crowe. They don't really look alike at all. They're just generic leading British European guy, not necessarily
what I
British,
would say,
but
when they were the same age, Russell Crowe and Heath Ledger.
There you go.
Do you see it too?
I mean, I think Russell Crowe is more weathered looking than even when he was younger. Than Heath Ledger was more of like a pretty boy.
But it's sort of the eye. It's the eye shape to me.
Like, okay, the other one I'll give you guys is Margot Martindale and Cameron Manheim. They're both just like generically kind of overweight actress and great, but they're the same person.
Mine will always be Jennifer Garner and Piper Perabo.
But they actually look alike.
They do look alike.
They have the same long angular. They have the same angular face.
Yeah, I suppose. There are definitely others, but they just like slip my mind right now.
And everybody says that who is it? That Hilary Swank looks like Jennifer Garner. I never saw that, but I guess that's what they say. Oh, your mic cut out. I was looking at the photos and your mic cut out. That's sorry about that.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. That was my own fault. I was like, why is she not talking?
But then?
They said Hilary Swank and Jennifer Garner. Do you see that? I don't see that.
No.
That's what's on the list here. But there's a couple that look like Jennifer Garner that I can't think of. The girl who from Fitz and Simmons, you won't know who I'm talking about here, from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No idea. I have no idea. Shane H. Wilder said, something weird happened in the mid-2010s. We used to have places to go that didn't involve sex, booze, and gambling. Then they all disappeared. Well, this is another problem. Coffee shops all close at like 4 p.m. Some of them even close at 2 p.m. these days. They used to be open in the evenings, and there was this, I don't know, it was just a convention that, you can sit in there for long periods of time. and not expect your stuff to get stolen or for homeless people to come in and terrorize everybody. There was furniture that was actually made to be used instead of looked at.
Yes.
Now it's like every coffee shop is like a film set, and it's not actually meant to be lived in.
Yes.
And it's made of concrete and glass. And you're just like inundated with obnoxious noises.
Okay.
And it's like fluorescent lights. It's soulless.
I was wrong about who I was comparing them. So actually what it was is the actress who plays Gemma Simmons.
That looks like Keira Knightley and Winona Ryder.
But I think that she looks like Danielle Panabaker from Arrow. They're just of the same archetype. They don't look alike, but they're of the same type of, like, I imagine a casting director had the same notes when she was hired than when she was hired.
Wasn't Danielle Panabaker on Disney
Maybe.
at some point?
I'm adding
Yes. I remember her from Stuck in the Suburbs on Disney and Sky High. And I always thought that she looked like Bridget Mendler from Good Luck Charlie.
Elizabeth Henstridge is her name, and Danielle.
It's funny that you know her from the CW.
Yes.
No. Her sister was also a Disney kid.
What was her sister's name?
Kay Panabaker.
Oh. It's kind of like,
They
what
look
is it,
exactly
like, who was the other ones? Allie and Machalka. She has a sister that's also an actress.
Allie and AJ, yeah. But Allie and AJ look very different. She looks like exactly the same as her sister, and they did a movie together called Read It and Weep. That was one of the Disney originals. Great movie. She was also on Phil of the Future. Man, those were the days.
We had a couple of 20s there.
A nostalgia loop. Okay.
One from
Where
Shane
is
H.
that?
Wilder.
Oh, I see it now. Shane H. Wilder said, I'm just glad I knew where the meme template was. This makes the 7th time I've used it. The others were Joker 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Oh gosh, I wanted to forget that one. Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, Madam Web, and the American Society of Magical Beep.
Yep.
I think, honestly, the worst of that list, oh gosh, I don't know. It might be Joker 2.
Yes.
Because it's like the other ones, I wasn't expecting anything out of them.
Yeah.
I was expecting greatness from a Joker sequel. But Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was really, really bad.
I mean, it was just aggressively forgettable considering how good the previous trilogy was. We got another 20 here from E.G. Smitty. Got that one there?
Oh, it comes up as a different username for me, but whatever. I'm in such a great mood that I just felt like contributing today. My YouTube channel I started less than a month ago is getting lots of attention with my music, and I felt generous.
Thank you. You should have
you.
like posted a link in here.
Thank you for popping in.
Yes, you should post a link here in the live chat, my friend.
Feel free to be shamelessly self-promoting.
Okay, here's another thing I have a problem with. When I want to do a Google image search on a freaking like desktop computer, when I click the image, it should just show up big right in the center of the screen. Okay, none of this shit on the side window here. Okay, it should show up in big in a big rectangle. Okay, I'm very annoyed.
I agree with you.
And then when you click the photo, it takes you to a website.
I share your frustration.
Like how am I supposed to do a podcast where I'm doing photo comparisons and the website just doesn't want to contribute?
Shaking my head.
Seriously.
Shane H. Wilder said Zachary Levi's Wildwood Studios is being built in Bastrop, an Austin suburb southeast of Austin. It's being built near Musk's Starlink facility.
Oh.
I'm sure that was no coincidence. Yeah. Jose M said, when the F did YouTube ads go from 2 to 3 per video / live stream? So effing annoying. Ozempic and Botox, non-moving faces, ads galore.
You should not be getting ads on our live streams. I don't turn the ads on for they come on once the stream is over. it's monetized, but I do not put ads on it. Like, I don't do the thing that drops the ads when we're live. Your mic cut out again.
No.
Oh, there you are. Now you're back. Okay, you're good.
What happened?
I don't know. It didn't catch your mic for a
Are we
second
good?
there. Yeah, you're good.
Wait, am I delayed now?
You sound tinny. Check your mic to see if maybe it switched your mic to another setting.
Hold on.
Should be fine though. You good?
Okay, I just reconnected.
Oh yeah, you got a delay going on.
Okay, whatever.
That's fine.
We're just gonna ignore it.
Okay.
Shane H. Wilder said.
Check your mic settings and see what microphone is selected. Make sure like on the program.
Oh, I see now. Okay.
Yeah. It might have
Good.
deselected. You good?
I think it should sound like back to normal now.
You sound back to normal, but there's still a little bit of delay. That's fine.
It'll go away eventually.
Yes, it does.
Shane H. Wilder said, speaking of marketing teams, whoever is running a internet show socials loves sharing my spicy, sarcastic promos for the show. Don't click. I cannot reveal any information about that, but thank you for watching. Did someone just say to AI, give me a British Tom McDonald and give him a name and make him look like he's from Peaky Blinders?
No, he doesn't look like
Danny
Peaky
Bones
Blinders.
feels like a psyop.
He does feel like a psyop. But he looks like Ajax from Deadpool, from the first Deadpool movie.
Well, he looks like a hoodlum, actually. It's kind of surprising that they didn't make him look like an upstanding young gentleman. He looks like a hoodlum.
Yes.
But yeah, he is basically an AI-generated British Tom McDonald. Boston said Mary is prettier than Sydney Sweeney, definitely. Okay, let's just start debating about who's more attractive. That's so interesting. Burned Oil said yes, but Sydney has nice curves, though.
So they're actually having the debate.
And then he said, my goal is to have Mary, Sydney, and Haley all live together in peace. Love must win, not war.
Mary will never allow that to happen as long as Sydney Sweeney is dating Scooter Braun.
You need to stop like thinking about women who you don't know. I think that would improve your life. Hyper Baroque said if he... What?
I don't know what that's supposed to be.
Giclated.
Oh, I know what he's saying. He did not do that on his own face.
Oh, I see now.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't sound it out properly, did I? On his own face. Why the hate? Why the hate? I mean, I don't know if that's really something to be proud of, dude.
Yep.
High Voltage 75 said happy birthday month to our beloved Mocha.
That is true. We do have
Mocha gets a whole birthday month?
No, not from me.
Why does she get the exception?
She does not. She does not get that from me. But it is her birthday coming up on next Thursday.
Okay. What are you gonna do?
Not celebrate. No,
You're not gonna do anything for Mocha?
We'll like, so the cats always get some gifts on their birthday. So
what are you?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Olivia. She'll let you know.
That's Olivia's domain.
Yes. I will say to Mocha, I love you.
You are the
Mocha.
dad who stepped up, which is a gift.
That is true.
In and of itself. Pop Culture Junkie said if a simp gets married and has a male child, is it a simp son? So I'll show myself out. Yeah, that would be best. Okay, Corey Anderson said, do women prefer to be called cute, pretty, or beautiful?
That's a trick question. It doesn't matter. You're gonna like any woman could give you a different answer on a different day.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would appreciate any of those. Corey Anderson said, can you make street food a recurring topic on a internet show? That episode was hilarious. I love how that one turned out. Like, loved it. And I do watch our stuff. I've watched our videos on PCC for a long time, and Brett thinks it's really weird, but I do.
It is weird.
Because it's like I feel like I want to find ways to improve, and I want to know how I come across on camera. So
I
And it also
understand.
helps me if I look back at one of our old videos to remind myself of things that we covered in the past, to like brush up on certain topics.
I have like an acute sense to myself, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but I have an acute sense like when we do a topic, usually on a day when you're not here, or I guess previously before you went to 3 days a week would have been on a day where it was a topic I was leading. There are days where I know 2 minutes in whether it's going to be good or not. I can tell. I can already tell if it's going to go the way that it needs to. Now, I will say that the few times I've had to listen back to things that I didn't like, it was less bad than I remember it being, usually. But my general opinion is that anytime I finish a topic, and this goes for even when I would record videos on my own, like the videos where it's pre-recorded before the show, I'm like, well, that sucked. Time to put it out. There have been only a handful of times where I've really, really thought they've come across really, really well.
I guess I never think of it that way. I'm just like kind of neutral at this point. Maybe I'm desensitized.
That's how it is. That's how it is for most people in the space, I'm sure.
And like, I know the whole thing is like we're telling you not to watch and not to click and stuff, but like you should definitely watch that video. If you have not yet dabbled in any episodes of A Internet Show, this is the one to catch, I promise you. Shane H. Wilder said, YouTube hits you with 3 ads now before the show starts. Can't skip until the 3rd ad.
I imagine that we are not seeing any of that money somehow.
Mm-mm. Well, that's just YouTube doing what YouTube does best, you know?
Yep.
Not being transparent with us and making money off of us and lying and censoring. So, I think we're all caught up on the super chats.
There's a couple more here.
Caught up on Rumble rants.
There's a couple more super chats here that probably just haven't come through over there. Pop Culture Junkie says, I absolutely loved the street food episode. I laughed a lot, but it did make my stomach turn a few times.
It was there were grosser things, honestly, that did not end up in the final cut.
Yeah. And Corey Anderson says, Kyler is a funny dude. Please get him on PCC. Well, we still haven't done like a 3-person remote show. When and if that does happen, it's going to be something I'm going to pre-record first to see how it goes.
We definitely should eventually.
I plan to do something where I pre-record one and run it as a private live stream to see how the stream holds up and see if it's like how it works. But that'll happen eventually. All right, that is everything. We're all caught up. Before we go, ladies and gentlemen, please hit the like button on this episode and subscribe to the channel, perhaps. If you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already, please and thank you. Share the episode out with everybody that you know, the ones that you like, the ones that you hate even. The more people that you share our show with, the faster the channel can grow. So thank you guys so much for that. Where can they find you?
You guys can send me validation on Instagram, that is Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X, that is also Mary Archived, and help me get TikTok famous, that is also Mary Archived. I am finally approaching 10K on TikTok, so
Getting there.
prayers up.
All right. If you guys want to follow me, I'm on Instagram and on X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. PCC is live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than just watch the show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcast and on Spotify. That is a great way to help the channel out, so please go ahead and do that. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at popculturecrisis, Instagram at popculturecrisispod. Guys, we will be back with another episode on Monday. We will see y'all then. Bye, everybody.
Bye.